Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926, and we got Gil's happy ending. Best ending, obviously, whatever, in the last part, so we are going to go through the bad endings, and this is where we started saving, so this should be save 2. Okay, so the first one we are doing is the bad, tragic ending, and we have to start at save file 2. So, I'm not starting in the order of the save file. I'm doing the order that's in the guide. So, right. So this is when Yuan breaks into the house. Well, breaks in. Yeah, kind of breaks in. Anyway, I steadied my eyes on him. He asked us about, oh, aren't you special to the fucking church? ... I decided not to say anything. Not only would it be difficult to speak to him in the first place, but I'd risk endangering us all if I said the wrong thing. I simply stared at him without saying a word. Okay, that's not right. Gil broke the silence in a calm voice. For value to the church is a thing of the past. I'm sure the Lu Huan Hu is the means to confirm that what I'm saying is true. Gil was essentially telling him to figure it out for themselves. Okay. I was like, when are we gonna... Oh. Seeing as how you're still alive and kicking. Oh, okay, no, we're going to the meanwhile stories. That's why I'm like, why did we kick out? I'm like, why did we stop here? You already said that. Okay. It says skip. Okay. Okay, so we're supposed to skip the meanwhile stories. It's funny that skipping the meanwhile stories sometimes, and I also hate this while you're skipping. Oops. You have to pause and it takes 6 hours for it. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Anyway. Stay beside the guard. Oh, we stay beside the guard here. Okay. Alright. And then we skip. It's interesting that skipping the stories, I don't know if they're telling you in the guides that you have to skip them because what's the point of reading them? It just takes up too much time to get to the ending, and you don't have to. Or if viewing them actually leads to better endings too. You know what I mean? The thought sent a chill down my spine as I skipped them all. So, I mean, I guess why it's gonna stop there. But again, it's really annoying that it takes forever for the text to fucking pop up. Good fucking God. And that's right next to me. We skip the aria. That's the worst part of this is we skip. We have to wait for this to pop up. Why? For God's sakes, who fucking coded that? Anyway, I'm just worried about you. I'm just worried about you, Gil. Sorry, Signorina. A real gentleman would never worry his lover like this. Sadly, your criminal record attests otherwise. Oliver, the sass! Look at the look on his face when he says that shit. Oliver, you bastard. I love it. That, by the way, is exactly what the acrylic stand of Oliver looks like. This exact fucking pose with that exact fucking sass look on his face. So, I'm not joking here, Oliver. I won't let myself get caught in the same trap twice. I promise. Okay. I knew that Gil was saying so to reassure me. Even so, I couldn't bring myself to stop worrying about him. And then we got a lot of meanwhile stories, so we're going to have a lot of awkward... half the time playing these endings is going to be this shit, waiting for it to, finish the text so you can skip the meanwhile story. You know what I mean? I can't even think as slow as that fucking works. Anyway. I do like children. Oh, Oliver, sweet little face. I love you. Skip meanwhile story. 3 hours later. Seriously, half of this is going to be waiting for that. Not at all. Right, because he's like, were you worried about me? Not at all. Not at all. I knew you'd come back safely. That's so. I nodded and we both looked at each other and smiled. Still have some work left to finish tonight. You go on ahead and get to bed. Thanks for staying up for me. Of course. Don't sleep too late, Gil. Wish I could spend more time with him. I mean, it's kind of interesting how it goes to... He's like, were you worried about me? I'm always worried about you, and not at all. I knew you'd come back fine. And like, I knew you'd be fine. He is not going to be fine at this ending, probably, because we said that. But, oh! There's actually a meanwhile story we don't skip. Oh, I gotta catch that, so... Are trying to provoke you? Which meanwhile story is this? Puzzled. No, we skip that one. Skip that. Skip the next one. Should be one before our choice, but then there is another one that it says to view it. That seemed rather abrupt. That's not the one we're going. Oh, right. Okay, this is... I was like, why is it saying are trying to provoke you? That's not a sentence. Right. The Berlin police are trying... Yeah. Does that mean they're trying to provoke you? Okay, right. That makes more sense. Are the police trying to provoke the Mafia by arresting as many soldiers as they can? Yeah, it's possible. Fact of the matter is, they aren't scared of retribution like they used to be. But I doubt they're acting of their own accord. I think it's safe to assume they've been given orders from Central. And this is next meanwhile story we play. Okay. The answer was clear. Work. View this one. Interesting that we view this one. Oh, was this new? This is new! Because I don't remember this. Oh, stop it, Eugene. It tickles. Come on, stop acting like you don't like it. I bet you want more, don't you? Okay, why am I reading? I don't want to be in Eugene's bedroom antics. This is more awkward. Having fun, I presume. Yeah, the food's delicious and so are the girls. I know it's none of my business, but you doing all right? I haven't seen any of your guys recently. Yes, the Visconti and the Falzone have put up a good fight. Some of mine were indeed killed. You don't say. I gotta do something about that. Being stuck inside all day is no way to live. Now that you mention it, I actually have some work for you to do. Huh? Since you've remained safe under our protection, the time has come for payment, Eugene. It's interesting that there are meanwhile stories that I guess are based on choices and where you're going. Huh. Because this one we've never read before. I would have remembered the Eugene bedroom antics. So. Interesting. Gil, Sorry, but I'm really busy tonight. You mind if we talk during breakfast tomorrow? Wait, what part is this? My voice was strained from nervousness. Oh. Was this when we... Okay. So we decide... This is where we were going to tell him we wanted to go to Chicago. Okay, so this is different. Anyway. Sorry, but I'm really busy tonight. Mind if we talk during breakfast tomorrow? Oh, of course. Gil took me by the hand and led me to his bed. Hello. It'll be a bit bright, but at least you won't be alone here, right? Gil smiled and tucked me into his bed with tenderness and care. Sweet dreams, Signorina. Gil gently kissed me on the forehead, and this is so that we wake up in his room, like we did in the next scene. Suppose I can tell him tomorrow at breakfast. Oh, he's so going to be dead before. I snuck a peek at Gil, who had resumed reading through a set of documents at his desk. His brow was furrowed in concentration, and my heart raced at the rare sight. I lay in his bed, surrounded by his scent, and felt safer than ever. Wishing I could keep my eyes on him for a bit longer, I slowly drifted off to sleep. I mean, okay, like we're not gonna be able to tell him at breakfast. Lose your touch. Was this a whole new chapter? Because this was not chapter 5. Oh, it's a whole new fucking chapter. Oh no, guys, these endings are gonna take forever. This is a whole new chapter 5 and 6. Oh, because then that's the tragic end, and then there's short bad ends. Because I was like, okay. This is just... Oh, so there's no, like, normal end. It's just, okay. So this one, that's why you do this one first. This is a long-ass one. So this, Lose Your Touch, and the next we go, okay, so maybe we're not getting through all the bad endings in this part. I thought we were going to do all the bad endings. I guess I should have done the shorter ones first. But, I mean, it took like at least an hour or more to read 2 chapters, so I don't think we're going to finish unless these are short chapters, but I doubt they are. Anyway, early the next morning when I awoke, I turned over in bed toward Gil, but was surprised to find that he wasn't there. The dim light of dawn fell upon the face of the clock in his room. So, okay, note to all of us, we'll see how long this takes, but because there's 2 full chapters to read, it's probably going to take a while. So what we'll probably do for the other routes is do the... Well, actually, I mean, I guess no, we can just do this and then do the short bad endings afterward. I guess it doesn't really matter. I was thinking, like, maybe we do the short bad endings and then we start this one. But, like... It's just because normally, we do the ending, we're done, and then we do the bad endings, and this is going to be, I kind of forgot. This is how the original Piofiore went, wasn't it? Like, the endings took multiple parts. Yeah. Because I was thinking the other ones, maybe we just do the short ones, get them done, and then start on this one, and then this one would take like 1 or 2 parts, as opposed to we do this one, then when this is finished, not doing a whole other part, for the other bad endings, just they're tacked on at the end. But we'll just do them in order. It's just easier to keep track of what we've done and what we haven't. So never mind. Forget I said anything. Though it was still well before breakfast, I reached for my robe and got out of bed. The hallway was quiet as I made my way toward my room. After getting dressed, I went down to the lounge and saw Gil speaking to one of his subordinates. Shyam Trading doesn't like being kept waiting. Give them a response right away and reschedule the appointment. Got it, Gil! The man quickly made his way out of the lounge. He sounded like he was running, not quickly. I mean, it's like, not just quickly. He was running. Is something the matter? As a matter of fact, a client of ours reached out to cancel today's meeting. This would have been a pretty sizable deal for us. And to be precise, they requested to postpone the meeting. Nevertheless, it's concerning as they've never requested to do so in the past. Hoping it's nothing, but chances are they want out. So you think the client wants to cut ties with the Visconti? That certainly is a possibility to consider. Shyam Trading did not have the best impression of the Visconti family when we first met. That being said, we built a solid relationship with them from the ground up until now, but we know them to be rather shrewd and discerning as well, and no doubt they're sensitive to our changing position in this country. We should contact a number of other businesses. Then again, I doubt we can find one as well established as Shyam Trading so quickly. Noticing Oliver's anxiety, Gil gave him a reassuring pat on the shoulder. The fact that, Oliver's the one that's stressed about everything. He then spoke in his usual easy way so as to lighten the mood for us all. We're on our way to say good morning. If that hasn't killed your appetite, let's have breakfast. Okay. He prompted me to have a seat on the sofa. Breakfast was served in the lounge, but not even the busy movements of the staff could dispel the grave atmosphere from earlier. Naturally, I thought better than to continue my conversation with Gil from last night. I'm sure I can talk to him about it some other time. With that, I finally reached out to pick up a slice of hot toast. It was light and crispy, and we're getting a thing. It was light and crispy, and the appetizing aroma of butter filled the air. But yeah, see, because it automatically highlighted the Eugene one yellow, so it looked like it was already red, but it's not. Eugene. You did well in your mission, Eugene. Well, yeah, something like this ain't a problem, but... You really have a low opinion of me, don't you? Anyone's like, I have a low opinion of everyone, but also everyone also has a low opinion of Eugene. So I'm just saying. Eugene, that's obvious. Twofold here. All I did here was deliver a letter. Did you think I couldn't even do that? I meant no offense by it. It's simply a habit of mine to praise my subordinates for a job well done. Sure, whatever. Oh yeah, and about that letter, you told me to make sure he reads it, right? Well, that old man read it all right. Never seen a guy so pale. The hell did you write, anyway? Listen carefully, Eugene. The key to living a long life is to avoid being too curious. Well, you're right about that. I can't say I disagree. Forget that I even asked. I'm wondering if they sent a threatening letter to... At first, I was thinking that maybe they delivered a letter when he said, that was like, oh, we're canceling the meeting to Gil, so Gil thinks the meeting's canceled and then he won't show up. But I think Yuan threatened Shaham, those people. So then they were like, yeah, we're not going to meet with you anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, it was light and crispy, and the appetizing aroma of butter filled the air. Although it was delicious as usual, I couldn't seem to bring myself to enjoy it. It was a bit past noon, and I was in my room studying. Oliver had lent me an English book, which I was now making my way through with a dictionary in hand. I need to educate myself for when time comes to go to America. For when the time comes to go to America. For when time comes to go to America. Well, that's not the proper English sentence, but good try, girl. It's like, did you do that on purpose? Tim, did you do that on purpose? Doubt it. Suddenly, I heard a knocking on the door. Yes? I'm coming. I stood up to open the door and saw Gil waiting behind it. Gil, what brings you here? Going out for a while, but I wanted to see you before I left. I see. So, about our conversation last night, I guess we didn't have time to talk about it this morning. So, why don't we go out for a nice dinner tonight after I'm done? I'll send someone to pick you up. We can talk more about it then. That would be great. Thank you, Gil. Sorry we can't talk sooner. We'll see you then. And unless Chapter 6 happens before the end of the day, at least he's not going to die now. And with that, Gil kissed me on the cheek and left. I watched Gil moving down the hallway toward the entrance, then went to the lounge to take a break. I exchanged some pleasantries with a few of Gil's men resting in the lounge. At this point, we were close enough to be considered friends. After preparing something to drink, I sat down on the sofa at the same time Orlok entered the lounge. Oh, sorry. Orlok, have you come to see Gil? I called out to Orlok, who looked around the lounge before replying, or Orlok's gonna kill us all, like he was originally gonna do. Yes, I have something urgent for him. Is he out? Do you know where he is? Well, all I know is that he's out, but I don't know where exactly. Orlok looked a little troubled and asked the other members of the group about Gil's whereabouts. Do you know where Gilbert went? Huh? Now that you mention it, all he said was that he needed to go somewhere. I think Oliver would know more. Yeah, but didn't Oliver go out with him too? Well, that's exactly why Oliver would know where he went, dumbass! I'm just kidding. I mean, Oliver would know. Oliver went with him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I see. Well, I'll come back again tonight. Wait, Orlok, I actually have dinner plans with Gil tonight. He said he'd send a car to pick me up, so if you come with me, you can see him then. Orlok looked down and went quiet for a moment. He's like, oh, we're going out to dinner. I need to get a nice dress. Well, if you don't mind, then I'll leave once I give him my message so that I don't bother you two. Nonsense. It's no bother at all. We're way too fucking nice. But I mean, it's Orlok, so yeah, no, I trust you're not going to try to weasel in on my man, Orlok. It's fine. Orlok blushed a little and averted his gaze, looking flustered. Oh, I'll see you later. As Orlok turned to leave, I stopped him again. But I don't know what time the car will arrive, so why don't you stay and have some tea with me? Of course, that is if you don't mind. Well, again, if it's alright. Seeming to be conflicted for a moment, Orlok finally gave in and nodded reservedly. Thank you, Orlok. Ooh, Mimo. Sorry, I didn't mean to actually click. I responded with a bright smile. Shackles. God damn it, is this more of Eugene's bedroom antics? Oh, it's Joseph von Rosberg. Emilio! Can't help it, I get really fucking excited when I see Emilio, okay? This stupid anyway. Quite disastrous, is it not, Joseph? Might we find some blessing in this tragedy? Why does everything he says sound happy? Look, he looks happy when he says everything. Their shallow-mindedness makes it impossible. This goes beyond their attempt to kill me. It is that they could be so godless as to do so in public, on holy grounds, no less. Though I still live today, the people have witnessed it. The siege artlessly illustrating the grievances felt against the church. Wow, God, you're just intense, dude. There's no hope for those so enamored by short-term game that they would risk it all. I may not have what it takes to be entrusted with the future of the church. I do not blame you. I cannot agree with His Holiness at present, and so I shall place my trust in you. Really, Amelia? Because I feel like Joseph von Rosberg... Was he not bad in the other... Wasn't he... Wait, maybe not in Gil's route, but like... I'm just saying, right? Wasn't he like a complete and utter fucking tool? The assassination attempt was likely a warning expressing dissatisfaction with your results. Your choice now is to obey them wholeheartedly, or call Orlok back to your side. I cannot call him back simply to ensure my own safety. Should he follow my orders, he'll be branded a traitor by the church. And do you worry that Orlok's safety will be compromised? Or would he fare much better after your death? Such are my thoughts. The rest is for you to decide. I do have my doubts that he'll be safe in that town. Emilio, whose side are you on? You seem a little shady right now, dealing with, like... What Emilio is telling me is true. Although I doubt Orlok could be killed so easily. I don't know, he got stabbed that one time. You know, in the good ending. The good ending saw frickin' Orlok die. That's... Well, I mean, I guess it's Gil's good ending, so fuck everybody else, right? The church will employ all means possible. My very existence may become Orlok's undoing. If so, what should I do? I responded with a bright smile. I was sure the time would fly by nicely with Orlok around. I mean, we didn't catch it fast, but he had the sweetest little smile on his face, like, okay, I'll enjoy some tea. Orlok and I spent a good part of the afternoon talking together till the car arrived in the evening. We arrived at a famous restaurant located in the Falce district. I caught sight of Gil standing in front of the restaurant, having just arrived himself. As we approached, he looked surprised to see Orlok accompanying me. You're like, oh, did you think I was going to dinner with you? Fuck no, Gil, I'm just kidding. Oh my god. Orlok had something urgent to tell you, so I brought him along. I see. Got it. Gil nodded before moving a bit away from me to talk to Orlok. Orlok's usually quiet voice was even more indistinct with the sound of cars and people around us. Meaning, we need to move as soon as possible. I'll send my guys. No, I'll go. Oh, Gil's gonna die. It'll be faster if I go from here instead of relaying the message to the manor. Gil turned to me with an apologetic look on his face. God damn it, Orlok! Such a cock blocker. Sorry, but something urgent just came up. Oh, don't worry. It's for work, right? I can go back to the manor. It'll be fine. My response came out quite rushed in my hurry to hide my disappointment. Gilbert, I suggest you take her with you. Huh? There's someone watching us from the alley over there. They may be after you, Gilbert, but I'm not sure if their intent is to attack. In any case, it does pose some risk to separate from her now. For an enemy of the Visconti, the boss's lover can be used for many purposes to achieve their objective, whatever it may be. Senior Redford's part of the Mafia. Aren't you scared that being with him could put you in real danger? I felt braver back when Elena and I spoke at the church. But the thought of danger lurking in an alley so close to me made my hands tremble. There's a possibility she and the others may be ambushed once she arrives at the manor. Gil thought for a moment, then looked at me. I want to avoid as much trouble as possible now. I guess it'll be better if you're with me. Sorry, but you mind coming with me for a bit? Not that my situation's any safer. Of course I'll go with you. Gil, you told me before that the safest place in Berlin is beside you. Right, of course. And that hasn't changed one bit. Well, after you, Signorina. I'll explain the details in the drive over. At least we get to spend time with him instead of constantly being ditched. Although that's a tragic end of its own, right? It seemed Gil had made a request to Orlok a while ago for a certain something of interest. Now that it had been found, the three of us were headed there now to obtain it. Oh my god, we're going to a locker to pick up heroin. We're so getting arrested. We alighted from the car in a busy street and proceeded down the alley behind Orlok. Orlok stood in front of one of the houses and looked at us to signal this was the location. Gil nodded and then went to knock on the door. Of all times! After a moment, the door slowly opened. A drowsy-looking woman appeared, seeming to have just been woken up despite all the lights being on inside. Gil wasted no time and cut into the chase. Don't waste no time cutting to the chase. I'm just kidding. You know a guy named Eugene? Eugene? Who? I don't know anyone by that name. Came to pick up the goods he left here. May I come in? I said I don't know anyone by that name. Gil is not. This is not the face of a man that you fuck with. I mean, it's the face of a man you fuck with, but not the face of a man you fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Gil quietly took out some lira banknotes from his wallet and handed them to the woman. Listen up. What you got here is real dangerous. The person standing on your doorstep wasn't either me or Eugene. You'd have been killed on the spot. I only want to get what he left behind. It's not my way to rough up a woman, and I've even paid you. All I need is for you to move aside. He's like, this is more than I normally make in a night. So good for her. Take the day off! The woman's face was fearful and pallid, but she moved aside to let us in. Gil led the way, and we followed after him. Over there was where Eugene hid it. The woman remained by the entrance, pointing sluggishly toward a nondescript part of the floor. Orlok and Gil looked down where she directed, then knelt down to pull up the floorboards. Underneath was something wrapped in a dingy cloth. Gil quickly unwrapped it to reveal a number of smaller wrapped packages containing white powder. Powder? Just as I thought that... I heard a muffled scream and looked back at the entrance in a panic. Yep, well, she got stabbed. Yep. Yuan was standing there, pulling his sword out of the woman's body. So, I mean, Gil wasn't lying. She crumpled to the ground like a rag doll. He swiftly swept his sword to one side, sending blood splattering across the floor. Fun. She gave a pained cry as he stepped on her body and entered the room. Damn! Jesus. How delightful. You're surprisingly quick. The Visconti is more efficient than I thought. It's been a while, hasn't it, Redford? Before he could finish, Gil and Orlok had already moved in front of me to shield me from danger. So that's what Eugene stole from Chicago. I didn't expect you to find it first. Now what to do? I have just the thing. Do you recall when I made mention of a tangible apology? Hand that over, and I suppose you can show leniency. Yuan was smiling as usual and lifted his blade to show he had no qualms about putting it to use. Like, I'm just so confused how this is gonna go. Like, there's so many things like Yuan could step, but he's not because we're still in chapter 5. Like, woo! I'm not looking to make enemies with you. These need to go back to Chicago. That'll be the end of my plans there. Oh? Did I give the impression that you had a choice? My apologies for being unclear. If you refuse, I will simply kill you all and take it. Yuan's voice was cold and murderous. Still, Gil replied with a smile. Cocky one, ain't you? Mind you, I'm a pretty good shot. Not to mention Orlok here is even stronger than I am. Maybe you'd like to think twice before taking on the both of us at once. And I'll pull your hair. Really good at kicking, biting. Yuan glanced over at Orlok. I see. He could prove to be a nuisance, and I cannot deny how bothersome it would be to kill you all now. Yuan smiled eerily as he put his sword away. I suppose I should take my leave. And now that I know the goods are in your possession, I can stop by and pay you a visit at a later date. And you don't think I'll be sending these off to Chicago before that happens? I do not believe you will. Merely sending it back will not be enough. You'll need to offer a greater tribute as a showing of repentance. Above all, I am the primary menace in this town. Should you wish to be rid of me, it'd be wise not to surrender your bargaining chip. I do hope that the famed Gilbert Redford's not foolish enough to do so. I am looking forward to our next encounter. Despite Yuan's sword being sheathed, his smile was as threatening as any weapon. His mere presence was terrifying enough to seize the entire room. I was too scared to even breathe, fearing it would invite any attention from him. Well, I turned around, I'm staring to the corner, pretending I don't exist. But Yuan did nothing more. Without another word, he turned on his heel and departed. As he left, it seemed the air returned to the room, and I could finally take a deep breath. Coming back to my senses, I quickly rushed to the woman on the floor, but Warlock stopped me from getting any closer. Too late. The woman lay lifelessly before me. It was clear she was already dead. We left her body behind and returned to the car, and Gil gave orders to his men to take care of the scene. As the car set off, my eyes were fixed on the darkened road ahead of us. After we arrived, I went back to my room so as not to disturb Gil, who would undoubtedly be busy with the aftermath of the situation. One of the men kindly asked if he could bring me a snack or something to drink, but although I hadn't eaten dinner, I had no appetite at all. Right, I have to adjust. Alright, there. When I was in front of Gil, I tried my best to put on a brave face, but now that I was alone, the vision of the woman's blood-stained body came to mind. I tried to busy myself by getting ready for bed, but as I climbed in and lay there in silence, I could think of little else. It was very late at night when I heard the faintest knock on the door to my room. It's Gil. I got out of bed and put on my robe to open the door. In the hallway was Gil, looking a touch surprised. Sorry, did I wake you? No, I've been awake this whole time. I can't seem to fall asleep. I don't blame you, especially with what you saw back there. Sorry that I prioritized work over you tonight. I was a little surprised to hear it. I'm fine. You don't have to apologize. I'm just kidding. I'm fine. That's the wrong answer. Fine, so don't worry. Just hearing your voice talking to me on the ride back help calm me down. I really mean it. Thank you, Gil. I know it was still a shock. The fact that you haven't slept yet's proof enough. Should have been here. Well, you're here now. It's more than I can ask for. Without a word, Gil kissed me gently on the cheek. I'll keep at it then. I'll keep it at that. I'll keep it at that. Kissing you on the lips will make it impossible for me to go back to work. I mean, you could go work on a different problem, i.e. me. Go to work on me. I'm just... No? Oh. One last kiss. To help you fall asleep tonight. Sweet dreams. Gil gently kissed me on the forehead and with a kind smile took his leave. Like forehead kisses are sweet. Gil... We're gonna get a meanwhile story, so anyway. After parting with Gil, I somehow felt calmer than before. Spectacle. Yuan! Rui, who had gone to the church on an errand of his own, called to inquire about my endeavors. I shared with him a brief summary of what happened, and he gave an exasperated sigh. Oh, right, this guy! Okay, see, we did meet him earlier, right? And he was the one with Yuan, and I was just thinking that was Yuan and whatever, anyway. So you're saying they got away? I'm saying I allowed them to do so. What other means of entertainment could I find in such a desolate town had I simply taken it? What other means of entertainment could I find in such a desolate town had I simply taken it? Okay. Like the drugs, okay. Perhaps this will serve to deepen the intrigue of this silly spectacle unfolding. What silly spectacle? He's got to have a different voice because he sounds kind of like frickin' Warlock, but I can't figure it out right now. You see, Gilbert Redford clearly abhors his father, Eugene Redford, but... What do you think? Your taste is as horrible as ever, Yuan. I I'm single-minded in what delights me. You yourself know this very well, Rui. I can't get Rui's voice. Because, I don't want him to sound too much like Orlok, but he definitely looks like, whatever, I'm so disinterested. But, that also kind of almost sounds like Yuan. You know what I mean? I don't know what's happening here. But anyway. Now then, let us get back to business. There's just too many characters and not enough fucking voices in my repertoire, okay? And also, when we get to, where the Phantom shows up, there's this other character that I'm like, okay, we can do a Lupin voice there. But, none of these characters look like the Lupin. You gotta look right, you know what I mean? Granted, sometimes, you just throw a voice out and then you're like, now I just can't not associate that character with the voice anymore. But, anyway, sharing. I mean, Rui could have totally been like, okay, whatever. Somebody could have the Valley Girl voice. I really feel like we give somebody a stupid Irish accent, but it's kind of fun anyway. But, at some point giving somebody, the Valley Girl voice? Could you imagine Dante just, fucking, just a side character, not main character, but, I see, that was a close one. You know what I mean? Just a random fucking character just having a fucking voice like that doesn't fit them fucking at all. It's, all I can do, man. Anyway. You see, that was a close one. Yuan's dangerous, even more so than Yang. He knows exactly how to leverage his power for the Lu Huanhu. There must have been a way to get him off the goods somehow. Or there must be a way to get him off the goods somehow. I assume going that route will be inordinately expensive. Yeah, I figured as much. After parting with Gil, I somehow felt calmer than before. I closed the door and returned to bed. Sure enough, his kiss really was able to help me drift off into sleep. I overslept a bit into the morning, having not fallen asleep until late last night. I quickly got ready and went to the lounge. Oliver was there, sipping on a cup of coffee. Oops. Not that it matters that I click that too much, but... Good morning, Oliver. Good morning. I've heard everything from Gilbert. You've had a trying night, it seems. You want some breakfast? Oh, well, maybe something light. Gotcha. I'll let him know. I took a seat on the sofa and looked at Oliver. Has Gil gone to work already? Yes, well, there is the matter of concealing what was found last night. I see. You've not had much time with Gilbert recently, have you? Oliver inquired with an expression of concern. I love how you care about my love life, Oliver. Is it because you're trying to move in on me, Oliver? You're like, you haven't had much time with Gil, right? Because I'm just saying. Because we can work on these equations, is all I'm saying. Look, Oliver's my side piece. Shut up. Just fucking love him. What should I say? If I told Oliver the truth, he'd probably tell Gil. I responded, I can't be helped. Don't want to disturb him. I don't want to disturb him, especially now. I want Gil to be able to focus on his work. I mean, it's already getting more difficult by the day for the Mafia to survive here. And Gil's at the place where he can't be sure whether his dream will come true or not. Once it does, I plan on doting on him like there's no tomorrow. I see. Gilbert should be thanking his lucky stars to have found a wonderful woman like you, right? I know. Are you wishing that you had found me first, Oliver? I'm saying, when something happens to Gilbert, you're the one that has to take over. Thank you, Oliver. Gil's a wonderful man who makes me want to be a better person, too. We looked at each other and smiled. Oh my... Stop having this little bro moment with frickin' Oliver. It's killing me. I love him so much. Suddenly, Oliver looked at the clock and stood from his seat. I'm sorry, but I must be going. Of course. I hope you have a good day, Oliver. Just as he left, I was served a plate of bean salad garnished with orange slices. I feel like Oliver's that person. You're like, just give him a little kiss on the cheek. Bye-bye. Pat him on the head. You know, like you would a kid. You're my precious one, Oliver. Feels like, why are you doing that? Shut up. Oliver deserves it. With no one else around, I began my meal. Even though I told Oliver it was fine, I can't deny that I'm still lonely. I haven't even gotten the chance to tell Gil that I'll go with him to Chicago. We never will. Gil rarely ever showed his anxieties or fears in front of me or his men. But lately, when I looked over at him, I could see him thinking to himself with furrowed brows. Once he caught a glimpse of me, he'd flash the same easygoing smile. That was why I wanted to wait until everything was resolved, which it never will be. Someone's going to die and you're never going to get to tell him. What I need to do now is offer as much support as I can to Gil so that I can lighten his load. I may not be able to help with his work directly, but there were things I could do within my means. Or so I hoped. In the same fashion as breakfast, I finished my dinner alone. I returned to my room to read some books and pass the time, but I can't get myself to focus. My hands idly turned the pages as I skimmed the words. Past midnight already. The clock had ticked past the midnight hour. I'm sure Gil must be back by now. Fortunately, I hadn't yet changed into my nightgown. I quickly stood to leave the room. There he was, inside the lounge. Gil, welcome home! Gil was looking outside the window with a drink in his hand. He turned, startled by my presence. You're still awake? I overslept this morning, so I just didn't feel tired. How about we go for a walk outside, then? I really like that. Gil smiled at my response. I just want to hold you and sit here and snuggle with you in the darkness instead, but okay, walk outside, sure. He then set down his drink and stood up from the sofa. I mean, like, right now I don't want to go for a walk outside because it's really fucking cold, Gil. Here, I don't know what it's like there. We walked together side by side. It reminded me of that night we took a stroll together. Gil had lent me his jacket to keep me warm back then. It wasn't as cold tonight, and I could feel the seasons changing. I thought for a moment about how many seasons I had spent with Gil. At least 4, because it's been a year, so. We walked all the way down to the seaside, greeted by the salty air and rolling waves. I think this is the first time I've been here at night. The moon reflected off the black sea, billowing as though it was something else entirely. It was an unfamiliar sight compared to the glimmering waters reflecting the white clouds during daytime. As I gazed out at the ocean, Gil turned to me and spoke in a low voice. Let's go down to the beach. Huh? Before I could ask why, Gil offered his hand to me. Oh my god, are we gonna fuck on the beach? I'm gonna get sand in my butt crack. That doesn't seem comfortable. I felt my heart beginning to race as I accepted his invitation. Gil was always taking me to places that I had never been before. I mean, I bet. This is a new background. I don't think we've ever had the beach background. We were standing together on the sandy beach. I could feel the wind from the sea whipping through my hair, but it wasn't cold. We held hands and ambled along the shore. Gil finally spoke. It's like, let's go down to the beach. Like, why did you say it so sexy like that? I haven't spent time with you like this in a while. Seems every time I make plans with you, they're broken somehow. Even our dinner was my attempt to make up for canceling our lunch date the other day. And that ended up with a dead hooker. Well, I mean, some people call that success. I don't know. Weird, but... Hey, Gil? I looked up at Gil as we continued walking side by side. Did Oliver tell you anything? Well, just a bit. Said that I should be grateful and not take you for granted. Gil, you've never taken me for granted. Came out instinctively. I couldn't recall any instance when he failed to express his concern for me. Gil looked at me and chuckled. I'm lucky that the girl I love is someone I can lean on, but I'd prefer seeing you lean on me a bit more. What do you mean? Men can be selfish bastards. When a woman finds it easy to give us space, it can be lonely and unnerving. So, I'm giving you space to deal with your shit and that bothers you. So then I become clingy and needy and that bothers you. I'm gonna need you to pick a lane, men! They have to be the right amount of needy, but give you I can't handle that, okay? Like, listen. I'm not really good at tightrope walking, alright? We start thinking that maybe we're not good enough. That maybe the one we love really doesn't love... That's not true at all. Before he could finish the thought, I found myself arguing against it. Sorry. That came out wrong, didn't it? Don't worry, I know that there's no reason to doubt your feelings for me. I also know that you've been holding yourself back on account of me, which is why I need to ask you this. Please tell me exactly how you feel. I think I'm in love with Oliver. I'm just kidding. I stopped myself before I could continue. It was true that I was holding back so that I wouldn't worry him in a time like this. Knowing that, I hesitated in putting my feelings into words. And then he's like waiting, and you're like, ah. Gil suddenly took off his shoes. Before I could ask what he was doing, he quickly lifted me up into his arms. What? Gil? Startled, I couldn't help but cry out as he walked into the waves. Well now, this is colder than I thought. Oh my god. I really thought the CGs and the bad endings were going to be like bad CGs, but this one is beautiful. Stop it! I mean, her eye is like gigantic again, but but you know, one, they're always gigantic, and two, it's her shock, but like everything, I mean, aside from her goofy eyes, you know, like, he always looks fucking amazing. Her dresses are always goddamn beautiful. The art's always lovely. You know what I mean? Like, God. Oh, that's a shawl that we've got. I'm like, what the hell is that blue thing? So it's like a little scarf kind of thingy that we must have been wearing around our shoulders, and that now it's just on one arm. But like, look at the way he's looking at it. God damn it. What the fuck? It's so funny though, because you look at her, and there's nothing wrong with the way her face is. Just looking at her face, you're like, she's drawn like kind of like cutesy pixie elf. And you're like, you could picture the game that's in, and it's like, it's adorable, I love it. And then you look at Gil, and you're like, it's like two different games, though. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, Jesus! And then you're like, oh, she's kind of like a cute little pixie elf, little cartoony. Wait, what? And then it's like, you know what I mean? I think that's why it sometimes pulls me out. I'm like, even though she has like, everything about her face is, like, super cute. It's like, it's so cute, it's kind of like a little elf, and, like, I'm picturing this, like, fluffy, happy kind of, like, cute, like, fantasy game, and then you've got Gilbert, you're like, oh, hot mafia man, and it's like, the two just don't I think that's what weirds me out sometimes. There's, like, nothing wrong with the way she's drawn. It's just, like, she slightly doesn't belong in this game, is what it is. You know what I mean? So weird. Anyway. Wait! I'm gonna fall! Don't worry, I gotcha. Oh. But if you don't tell me what's in your heart, I may be so disappointed that I'll lose all strength. Shame on you! Come on, spill it. I'm listening, so tell me everything. Man, don't you just want to be like, pause when you're going to think about a man so that he just drags you into the fucking ocean like this? You have this goddamn romantic, beautiful moment where he somehow... That would break a man's arms and back and whole body trying to hold my ass like this, but I'm just saying. I still wasn't sure whether I should tell him or not. Phil smiled mischievously, and I knew he wasn't going to let me go until he got his way. I decided to tell him everything that was in my heart. Oh. See, this, I think that, I mean, that was before it was her shocked face, and now this is her, like, serious face. It fits the CG a little bit better, but... I want to go with you to Chicago. Oh, we did get to tell him before one of us dies brutally in the tragic end. Or he gets sent to prison or something. Because this is not going to end happy. It's the tragic bad ending. So it's going to be the worst. But the CG is so beautiful and the music is like, ah, 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 in the background. Like, what the fuck? Damn bad ending. Gil took a shallow breath. He then let out a sigh of relief. I decided a while ago, but I couldn't find the right time to tell you. No, it wasn't you. I was thinking I might have been avoiding the subject in some way. I was scared to hear your reply. I thought, if she's gonna tell me on the spot, I'd rather we just be together for as long as possible. Sorry. Only I had told you sooner. Nah, when would that have happened anyway? Work's been keeping us apart. Now then, what else? That's it? I told you I want to know everything on your mind. Tell me what you're feeling deep down. A little cold and scared you're gonna drop me, but now's not the time. Now is the time. What kind of mafia boss would I be if I can't even fulfill the wishes of the woman I love? And then they, like, zoom in on his beautiful fucking face! Just draw him so well. He really does have a really great, like, side profile. So I was like, I look Gil in the eye. Ha! In the eye, right? The moonlight shining upon him lent his face a touch of something magical and strange. The sight of him like this drew me into speaking what lay deep inside for a long time. I can't imagine how lonely I am without you, Gil. And? Probably don't wake me up out of kindness. Lonely having breakfast without you. And? Feel lonely sleeping all by myself just because you come home late. And? You've been behaving like a boss even in front of me. It made me think you only had work on your mind. I feel like I'm not a part of your life when you're like that, and that makes me lonely too. Gil's expression remained serious, but a heat began to grow in his eye. He wasn't looking away from me at all. Sorry, Space. I really am. I've been too reliant on you since you always put me first and foremost, and all this time I've been keeping you lonely. No, you didn't do anything wrong, Gil. If anything, I'm in the wrong for not telling you my feelings sooner. I just didn't want to be a burden. We both smiled as we looked into each other's eyes. Oh, look, and then he gets even more narrowed eyes with lovey. That's like... So this one's got 3 versions. Okay, because Gil had a bunch, and it's like, well, this one's got a couple of versions. They technically all have the same amount of CGs. It's just this one's got 3 versions, where maybe someone else's only has 1, Just as lonely sleeping without you. We live in the same place, and not being able to spend time with you is like torture. I'm gonna be a selfish bastard, so I want you to be just as selfish. I want you to want me. Of course I do. But if I'm ever too selfish, be sure to tell me, okay? That'll be tough. I'd let you get away with anything. Gil gave a sweet smile, whispered into his ear. I feel the same way, Gil. Love you, Space. You too. It's like this is gonna be a tragic bad ending, but this is such a beautiful fucking moment. I hate it. It hurts more knowing that this is a bad ending. You know what I mean? Because this is such a beautiful fucking moment. You're like, oh, there's beauty in the tragedy. I think that's what hurts more. I hugged Gil tightly, wanting him to feel just how much I meant it. My love continued to grow with each passing season I spent with him. This is he's so gonna die, isn't he? I mean, if we die, it's not as tragic. It's more tragic when he dies, There was no clearer truth to me than that. Oh, he's so gonna die. Chapter 6, I bet? Because it's great. Yes! Alright, we might actually be able to finish it in the next part, so. Out of the woods. I don't know about that! A few days passed. Elon had still not contacted us since we last saw him, nor had his men been seen around town. Strangely, it made me even more nervous, as though it was the calm before the storm. Oliver, does this look alright? Yes, thank you. You've become much faster at these calculations. That's because I got a calculator on my phone. I mean, what? I don't have a cell phone. I'm not from the future. I don't know why my cell phone works here, but As usual, I spent most of my day helping Oliver with his work. Gil was also busy with work, as usual. It seemed he was still having trouble getting in Damn it, I thought it was going to have another line after it, so I'm like, oh, if I click ahead, I can take time reading, but no. As usual, I spent most of my day helping Oliver with his work. I felt the only reason Gil and I saw each other at all was because we lived at the same place. See what I mean? Doesn't look like it could go down further, but it just, stops there, and it's, so dumb. While we could spend little time together as lovers, we still had breakfast together in the mornings and slept in the same bed at night. See? Why did the other one skip? Because it was, too long, and I was like, oh, if I click it, it'll start filling in, and then I have more time to read it, instead of, clicking so fast, and that just blew up in my face. Anyway. I knew those were the only times he could be with me consistently and was grateful to him. Apart from that, there were many changes that had taken place in the meantime. Luke had been visiting the manor more often to study with me, and of greater note, Orlok announced to us that he'd be returning to the church for the time being. Due to political disputes within the church, His Excellency, Bishop Rosberg, may be in danger of being assassinated. Oh, so like Rosberg called him back. Interesting. Bishop Rosberg had helped Gil when he was put on trial last year. He was a powerful ally. Okay, but he wasn't always, like, so he helped Gil, but wasn't he, like, really fucking shady in, like, Orlok's route, right? God, right? I mean, I get it, like, oh, okay, so a character that's really shady underneath, kind of like, this is the way it went, so he didn't need to be crazy, but I swear he was just really evil. I swear he was really fucking evil. Definitely in Orlok's route. Maybe it was just more like he's evil in Orlok's route, like, you know, Jack and Eugene might show up in Dante's route, but because they're not really pertinent to what's going on, we don't know their character. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The news may be reported soon, but not long ago, His Excellency was attacked and badly injured. Fortunately, he survived, but there's no telling what will happen next. I know the Visconti family is facing their own challenges, and I'd like to help, but... Sorry, must attend to His Excellency at this time. Don't worry, please do your best to protect Bishop Rosberg, and please be careful, Orlok. So this is like Orlok's not going to help us when all the other men from the church come to stab us. 4 days passed. Hey, there's a call for you! Me? The soldier seemed slightly confused himself as he directed me to the extension. Hello? I hesitantly answered the phone when a bright and spirited voice came through the receiver. Elena? Oh! Testing! Lon here! Do you copy? Lon, that's not a transceiver, it's a phone. Huh? Lies! They're all the same thing, right? Right? Lon? They? Ah! See, it worked! I can hear a voice from here! I did it! Buongiorno! Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Something happened. Aw, hey Faye, give it back! I was the one who called! We're helping Yang today, you know, meaning we're doing all his work for him. Hey! Give me the receiver! What are you doing, you brats? Ah! I overheard Yang's irritated voice nearby before the line abruptly cut off. They're just like, how do you use a phone? I prayed for their safety as I set down the receiver. I have no idea what the point of that was, but it was cute. If only things could always be as peaceful as they were now. Oh, sweetie. I knew that wasn't possible, but I hoped with all my heart they would be someday. The following evening, Gil came to visit me in my room. Oh dear. I thought you were going to be late today. It's nice to see you back so early. The deal went a lot smoother than I thought. I'll let you and I go out for dinner tonight. We're long overdue for one, and I'd love to finally make amends for all our missed plans. That sounds great. I'll get ready right away. Well then, you mind if I give you a hand with that? I really want to dress you up tonight. If you try to give me a hand, we're never leaving this house. I'm just saying. Sure. Thank you, Gil. She's like, seriously, girl. You want to dress me up? Right, you're going to put clothes on me. Because I'm going to go with that's usually not how this works. It had been some time since he dressed me up, and though I felt a bit embarrassed, I nodded. I kind of get that. You guys are like, yeah, let me dress you up. You're like, this is a little awkward, but okay. Smiling, Gil extended his hand to me. I took it with some anticipation of what might come next. We managed to make it to dinner. That's shocking. Well, he was like, well, we didn't make it to dinner, and I promise you I mean, I feel like he's like, nah, I have to. We arrived at one of the oldest establishments in Falce and sat down at a table Gil had reserved. We toasted our glasses of champagne, whatever, white wine. Some kind of white wine, anyway, and I breathed in its floral, fruity aroma before taking a sip. So, like, not Boone's Farm. As we chatted and relaxed together. Senor, for you. One of the waiters came to the table and passed along a message to Gil. Turns around and it's Dante in the back. Waving. You know, I'm just kidding. Like a schoolgirl sending notes to their friends. Gil unfolded it, and as his eye traveled across the note, a frown appeared on his face. Sorry, I need to take care of this. He apologized and stood up from his chair. Not to worry. Take your time. I was concerned by Gil's sudden reaction, but did my best to send him off with a smile. I watched Gil leave through the entrance, feeling an odd sense of anxiety settling in. And we're going to leave with that odd sense of anxiety while Gilbert goes outside! Oh, it's fucking Eugene, most likely. See if I remember that tomorrow when I try to record the next part. But anyway, we'll stop here. Although we could... You know what? No, let's do this. Because this is going to be probably fast. Let's do this side piece. I want to see who he's talking to. We'll go a little bit over. Because, you know, this way we can get our bad endings finished up in the next part. You know what I mean? I want to make sure we, like, get them done. So, we'll give it another minute or two. Okay. Went behind the ristorante and found him there, waving at me with a smile. Told ya! Woo! Hey, Gil. What took you so long? What? Ah, shit! What the hell? What kind of a son takes a swing at his father like that? Thought I told you, Eugene, that I'd kill you the next time I saw your face. Besides, were you the one who told Jack to get rid of my girl? And you got the gall to call me out here? Wait. Come on, wait. I didn't exactly have a choice back then. It just slipped out, I swear. I wasn't really trying to get her killed. And no, I get it. If things went sideways, you know, you'd have every right to be angry. You would? I do. Which is why I'm sorry. Honest, see? Come on, let me go. Without a sliver of pride, Eugene dropped to his knees and begged for forgiveness. That's how slimy he is, though. He's no pride, no fucking stones. You know what I mean? He's just a, like, wormy little con man. But he's entertaining, so... I was starting to wonder if it really was worth getting pissed at someone so pathetic. Even breathing the same air as him for much longer would drag me down to his level. So what? If you didn't come to get killed, why are you here, Eugene? Well, I came because, to apologize? Apologize? Yeah, see, I know I caused a heck of a lot of trouble for you, right? Ever since you were a kid, I only made your life harder, and I really feel bad about it. Honest. Look at me, I'm getting on in years. I figured now's my last chance to do something good by my boy. Stop beating around the bush. Just get to the point. Well, have you, been doing business with Shahem Trading recently? A girl I got friendly with at a bar turned out to be a mistress of one of their big shots. She said Shahem Trading's been trained to shake off anything to do with Burlone. They're itching to withdraw from any deals they've got with the Burlone Mafia. In other words, the Visconti. Of course, I looked into it. She wasn't lying. The most pitiful part is how she's got him wrapped around her little finger. Here he is, spilling his heart out to her, and she's out looking for another guy who can actually satisfy her. It'd be just like him to say that he had his fun with her. Eugene smiled a vulgar smile as if to confirm my hunch. Just looking at him was pissing me off. It's like, what kind of fucking father talks like this with his son? It's so weird. Listen, keep your shit in your own pants. I don't want to know. So, yeah, she and I got real friendly. That's why if you wanted an in with them, I could pull some strings. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. You don't want to call it quits with them, do ya? Screw you. Huh? What the hell? You think I trust any of the bullshit coming out of your mouth? Even if you had your connections, I never asked for your help. Ever. And now, come on, don't be like that. I'm really sorry for everything I've done. Isn't a guy allowed to change? Everything you say comes out so fake. I'm human just like anyone else, Gil. The goods went missing from my place of another girl I know. I figured it was you who found them. And that means I ain't got the cash to leave town now. It's only a matter of time. A goner. And since I'm near the end, let me be a father for once. You can't know how important that is to me. His voice is so fucking different every single time we do him, but like, doesn't matter. I haven't forgotten about the past. I know full well what a piece of shit I was then. And I really regret what I did to your eye. Your eyes were always as beautiful as Amaria's. I was running from reality that night with the booze and all. His half-assed apology wasn't fooling me. If you really did have an in with those guys, family had nothing left to lose. As little as I wanted to even look at him, is there any chance we could benefit from this? No! You'll know! You'll know. Space's face flashed through my mind. Sitting here and Yuan's gonna get kidnapped me. Anyway, okay, at least because I was like, Eugenia's out there wasting time so I can get kidnapped in the restaurant. But okay, no, we're not. Okay, but anyway. Now we can stop. I just wanted to see that little scene and we'll continue and hopefully finish this ending and then be able to finish all of our bad endings in the next part, because it seems like chapter 5 for this one we managed to finish within the hour, on top of the time it took us to skip through, which wasn't that much. So kind of hoping chapter 6, these maybe because they're bad ending chapters, that they go a little faster, so we can wrap up chapter 6, get our tragic ending, cry a little, and then do our other short bad endings. You know what I mean? So we can kind of do them all in one part. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.